Josh Howell, Kenya Kirkland, and Kelly Mitchell are officials, and the Flames have the opening tip. The Flames team that's averaging over 70 points per game on the season, although they need to get the three-point shot going here today. Just 8 for their last 38 from the field.
And you're looking at Aerie inside defending on Bella Smuda inside. I think that is going to be the matchup that I am anxious to see.
Surprised you picked the big-time post matchup to talk about early.
Always try to, shake things up with you, Noah.
You got to. Aerie called for the travel. The standout freshman from Australia was one of those people that was seeing snow for one of the first times today. A look at the Liberty starting lineup, led by Jordan Hodges, who's appearing in her 106th career game. Struggled with turnovers early on this season, but really has cleaned it up lately. And Bella Smuda coming off of a big game. Here's Asia Boone, cash money from 3.
So you said it, Noah. You want to see threes early, and that is what Liberty wants as well, already getting their first to fall.
Louisiana Tech 2-1, though, coming off of a tough loss against FIU on Thursday night in a long trip. Hoping to respond here today. And a second consecutive turnover. Hodges split the double, got into the paint, and the easy 2. Louisiana Tech, 3 freshmen, Paris Bradley, Jordan Marshall, and Isla Aerie in the starting lineup. Youngest team in the conference this year.
And is generating so much excitement from their head coach, Brooke Storer. She just loves this group, and it has made her excited to come into practice and coach every single day.
Sometimes that youth can invigorate an entire program, and that's what it appears to have done, at least early on this season.
Yeah, and for a team that has 9 newcomers, oftentimes you see transfers. Great look by Bella Smuda inside. Nice finish off the glass. But Noah, this is a team that has 7 freshmen of those 9 newcomers. That is a lot of new kids to college basketball, and Brooke Storer has done a great job teaching them.
But it didn't look like she's added any gray hair this year.
Yeah, that's right. She's my age, I think, exactly. We graduated the same year in 2001, so, we're both young.
Must be the highlights. Gianna Morris, all freshman a year ago. This is Robin Lee, 4 on the shot clock. Lee drives, pulls. Can't get the roll as Hodges grabs another rebound.
Lee, one of the veterans on this team. Very few of those, but she takes her job seriously as one of those older players that can teach the youth.
In and out for Smuda. Aya's daughter with the offensive board and a second miss.
That's going to be an important part of this game is rebounding. Both teams have some height. Liberty obviously wants to dominate the boards. LaTech has done better at that this year than in recent years. Can they do it against this very tall Liberty team?
Jordan Marshall goes into the paint. Aerie, who's watched a lot of Bella Smuda in film this year with the easy 2.
Well, that was one of the best parts of the conversation with Coach Storer as Emma Hess gets her first to fall. Great look in transition, and Brooke Storer is going to call a timeout.
Liberty out to a 10-2 edge and a timeout.
For Robin, this year has been so much fun. She's energized by the young talent. It's a combination of their big personalities and the potential of where they can go. And Coach Storer told us the sense of belief Robin has in this team is notable. After their loss to FIU, she had a conversation with Coach at the airport just saying, hey, I know this group will respond. I believe in them so much. And Robin's attitude through it all has impressed Coach Storer, but it hasn't surprised her. Since Robin arrived on campus, she's been someone that's very conscious of succeeding. Coach told us she's challenged her since her freshman year to fight for playing minutes and to work to earn her time on the floor. Robin took that challenge and ran with it, so it's no surprise seeing the leader she's become in this program, Noah.
Bradley hit the 3 on the other end. Liberty with a look here. And to Annie's point, Kelly, as an older player, and you can speak to this, you can be reinvigorated by having youth enter your locker room.
Well, and two, I think it's a coach's dream to see an older player actually start thinking about the teaching side of things, right? That's a coach in the making, potentially, and any good coach wants her players to start understanding the game to that level. So I love that. This is a great player. She's already made her mark early in this game.
You also get the title of old head in the locker room, right?
100%.
That's what the kids say these days. Look at Paris Bradley, who hit the 3 the other time down. One of 2 Freshman of the Year candidates on this team. And Boone's going to pick up a personal foul here.
Yeah, and Bradley's so physical when she's got the ball in her hands. Takes her over the top of the screen. And look at the way she initiates contact into Asia Boone. Boone picks up that foul.
Back-to-back Freshman of the Week honors for Bradley in the conference this season. Tough catch for Sydney Thomas. Thomas has got it back, leads this team in minutes off the bench this year. 5 on the shot clock. Lee over Hess. And Marshall going to pick up the foul on the over-the-back call.
Perfect box out for Eyesdotter underneath. Marshall, as we said, an excellent rebounder. Twice already with 14 boards. I mean, that's astounding. And she's 6 feet tall. She's not 6'4", like many on this team as well. But she goes up and gets it.
Down low to Smuda. He'll kick to the corner, extra pass. And Hodges gonna draw the foul. Foul called on Paris Bradley, second on LaTech here in the opening period.
I was actually unsure of who that was on. I wondered if she was calling it on Jordan Hodges, but for pushing off, but I think that's the right call. So we've seen now both sides, physical play with the ball handler, defense picking up the foul.
Hey, we were in lockstep. That's why I paused for a second.
That's right. Yeah, I thought so.
Sometimes it can go the other way in a hurry. Here's Smuda, works into the post, kicks it out. Eyesdotter hits the three. Had a big one the other day to open the lid from downtown, and has another here.
Yeah, Liberty was without a three-pointer in the entire first half of that game against Sam Houston. So already with quite a few today.
Looking inside for Aaron off of her hands. And for some context to that, Liberty, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. Kelly, early on, what are you seeing?
You know, for LaTech, I just have pick your poison because they've got 4 players that average in double figures. This is not a team that you can just guard one area because somebody else is going to step up, and they've got some depth on that bench, people that can come in and score as well. And then Liberty, they have to defend without fouling. Just like Sam Houston and Asia Boone got that 3 to go. We're rating threes here today. Just like that in that game against Sam Houston, who got to the foul line a lot, this is LaTech's game. They want to drive to the bucket, pick up fouls, and make a living at the free throw line.
Liberty now 4 threes in this opening quarter, had just 8 over their last 2 games combined. Aaron looking into the post. Great catch by Airy, but couldn't finish as Smuda skied for the board.
Yeah, great pass, and then an excellent catch over the defended player inside.
Hodges wants another. But an offensive board and a foul on the floor. And that's going to go against Bella Smuda. That's a post drawn, a tough foul call right there.
I'm glad we're getting another look on this one because I was a little confused at the call. I mean, she was coming down.
Where's the foul?
With it. I mean, that is a normal in-motion play. Defense was coming in trying to get the foul as well. But, yeah, Coach Green, I think, also puzzled.
So back to Louisiana Tech. 11-point Liberty edge here in the early on. First appearance in the game for Autumn Smith. 1 in that baby blue jersey today. Lee guarded by the freshman Mills. The veteran blows by and will head to the free throw line.
So just as I said, that is very much LaTech's game. You'll see a lot of that. We've already seen it. LaTech trying to get all the way to the rim. They'll come off of ball screens. They'll take you one-on-one.
So Robin Lee at the free throw line. And to your point, Kelly, a Louisiana Tech team that I love the advanced analytics. When you look at this team, they're number 7 in the country in free throw rate, and that takes into account possessions that have a free throw. They shoot it a lot, but they haven't been the best shooting team from the line this year.
Yeah, and that's something, you know, that oftentimes you can see, especially with a young team, right? Maybe have a little more nerves in the college game. Hopefully you start seeing that number rise later in the season because of the consistency that they get there. They need to start making those shots.
Liberty just 2 starters on the floor, Eyesdotter and Boone. Avery Mills works into the paint. Good defense for Morris. And Mills thought that one was touched. So did the Liberty bench. But it's going to Louisiana Tech.
So good defense up top. Gets her hand on the ball. I think
I'd have to see it again.
LaTech was the last to touch.
So LaTech has it back, trailing by 9. Just 2 for 6 from the field in the early going, trying to snap a 3-minute scoreless drought on this possession. Aaron walled up. Swung for Lee. He attacks Badoza. Got to the cup, couldn't finish. And a rebound for Boone, and here come the Flames.
Lee has such a quick first step. Does a great job of separating from her defender to get a leg up on the offensive side.
Boone uses the screen. Got a step and knocks down the 3.
I think it's going to be that kind of day, Noah. Everything falling right now for Liberty, but how about this? After a make, get the ball in quickly, get down the floor. Gianna Morris is so good at that. Coach Storr has such great things to say about this point guard, who's just a sophomore.
LaTech looking for a response. Almost threw it away. And now they do. Liberty just 8 made threes in their last 8 quarters of basketball. 5 so far here in the opening quarter. Boone thinking about number 6. Too strong. Trying to get it inside to Ayesdottir. They doubled her, somehow still made the catch. Boone, another look from 3. Look at Stout grab the board, and now we'll head to the free throw line. Liberty's dominating the O-Glass right now.
Yeah, they've done a good job of, as Coach Green says, doing their homework on the front end. Get that inside position where the rebound often goes is the other side of the basket where the ball is shot. So there's the shot. You go backside. Stout gets the ball, go up, draws a foul.
Kelly, you've heard me say it once. You've heard me say it a million times. I think if she makes this free throw, the player who passed her the ball should get an assist.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's simple. I need someone to listen to me.
I also, by the way, you know, we've been talking about some charges and got some players on this LaTech team that have done a great job taking charges. But why is that not a stat? Why are we not charting charges? That is the most, like, that changes the game so much.
And an offensive foul here. I mean, to your point, there's a stat for everything, it feels like these days.
But not charges.
Or points in the paint.
Yeah.
That doesn't get kept track of enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. And we do have a line for points in the paint.
That's
but
fair.
We just, yeah, I don't know. That's coming. You know, as much as this game has evolved, charges are coming.
Here's Stout to the cup.
What a pass by Badoza. Finds her inside.
LaTech looking for any sort of answer they can find, and that's not going to give them one. What's gone wrong offensively?
You know, honestly, I would say it's more the defense of Liberty. Liberty has done a really good job of playing their sets the way they want to. They're switching on some screens. Great give and go there. A great pass inside to Stout, who finishes. But I think that right now, LaTech needs to get more to their game, which is transition. Make or miss. Get the ball up the floor and get easier looks at the basket.
So how's Liberty slowing them down?
I just think that they're switching when they need to. They're defending the ball well. And you've got to pick up in the full court. That's exactly what Robin Lee wants to do.
Moore going to be called for the foul, but a great job of pushing the pace there from Lee.
Once again, this is where they make their living, in transition. Gets the rebound after the missed shot. Lee goes up strong, draws the foul.
Kelly, you talked about it early on, but Robin Lee, when you watch her, such a quick first step.
Yeah.
Other than following as a defender, how do you hedge against that?
You know, first of all, you got to have some help come over. If you cannot, it's very difficult to contain a player like that because she can also shoot. So you've got to respect her shot. But it's the lateral movements that you can get that offensive player to get out of her line. If you can push her off that line that she wants to go to the basket, it'll help you get some time to come back.
Liberty might be thinking about going 2 for 1. Moore open in the corner, and more threes.
How many people are going to drop a three today? I think maybe that's what we need to start charting. How many different players on this Liberty team?
The answer's 4 so far. Lee. Short on the 3. Steenbergen got herself in trouble, and Marshall the beneficiary.
That was one of those rules I remember as a young player. Never save the ball under the other team's basket.
5 on the game clock. Badoza in the air. Short on the 2. A rare miss for the Flames in this opening quarter of basketball. They go of 10 in that opening quarter.
And you know what I love, too? I love that Emma Hess hit her first 3, because she has been, as we mentioned in the open, she was shooting 22% from the three-point line, a place where she makes her living since late November. And last game, she had a breakout game and hit 3, double dribble there for Aerie. But just to see the ball go through the hoop again, it's like, okay, I'm back. We can put away all that other stuff that was happening. I'm back to hitting threes.
Kelly, for Louisiana Tech, you come into this second quarter. We just saw a turnover. That's now 8. What areas do they need to clean up?
You know, you can see that often in a very young team, high turnovers. Although as I say that, Liberty has high turnovers, and they're a very veteran team, so maybe that's not a statement that makes any sense. As Bellis Buda, nice block on her inside, but they've just got to be more patient. Make good passes.
Morris with the basketball up at the top, and Annie, you were in the huddle.
Yeah, no, a lot that head coach Brooke Storr wants her team to improve upon. Offensively, she said, we have to be tougher. We have a whole other level to our offense, and the little things matter. You know, right now, Liberty's getting extra possessions off of those details we're not executing. She said, we have to guard the three-point line, stop posting sideways, and, you know, stop trying to force passes. She wants them to communicate better and said to her ladies, you know, if they screen us, we need to be fighting through it. She doesn't want her ladies to feel sorry for themselves right now. She said, it's time to grow.
I love those specifics that she said, because every one of those is a teaching point. Even the posting up sideways. You can't get the ball if you post up sideways. How about the charge? Asia Boone puts herself in position. See, that should be on the stat sheet. She gets the charge. That's a turnover on LaTech. Man, I love it.
You're preaching to the choir, Kelly.
I know, right? To my own choir. Good drive, as we said, right? This is what LaTech wants to do. So knowing that, you have to move yourself in position. That's how you get stops.
2 fouls now on Paris Bradley. And Brooke Storr was honest with us. She told us that toughness was an area that this team needed to improve on from a year ago. Felt like they were making great strides in that area until the FIU game, and maybe not as tough as she would like to see here so far today. Turnover from Boone. The team's a bit sloppy here to begin the second quarter.
That was such a great play. I thought it was going to be a layup for Boone. I think she just mishandled the catch and then was trying to get the ball to Emma Hess on the baseline. Coach Green is notorious for those little quick hitter plays, something that's going to get a good shot.
Here's Autumn Smith. Isla Aerie matched up one-on-one with Bella Smuda. Robin Lee had 4 points in that opening quarter, has 2 to begin the second.
Excellent job putting the ball on the floor. 2 dribbles, stop and pop.
First basket for either team in over 2 minutes and 15 seconds to begin the second quarter. Boone rejected the screen, gets downhill, and has 2 more. 11 here in the first half for Boone. It's been the Robin Lee show so far today. Will it continue?
Wow.
Great find. Marshall couldn't finish. And now Boone loses it. Lee drives. And Hess got the tie-up. And it's going back to the Flames.
That's a great defensive stop. I had just been admiring, though, Lee's offensive production. Last time she had a great pass on that play. This time, the defense was too tough. Emma Hess with the tie-up.
To your point early on, didn't get the help on that possession. Sometimes you just got to go do it on your own.
Yeah, that's right. And the help came earlier, and that's a good point guard. You find the open player, and that's another good point guard. But she will get the charge. Wow. Back to back, we've got charges on both sides. Great job. So Sydney Thomas gets herself in position on that baseline. It's exactly where Hodges wanted to go. Those are the plays you need. Those are the little things that Coach Storr was talking about.
And if you look at the positioning there of Thomas and you're a fan of college basketball, you would have said she's inside that arc.
Yep.
In the women's game,
That's
that
right.
does not come into play any longer.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. It's just the cylinder under the basket. That is all they go by. So that is within good play to go to that baseline side, get the charge. And I'm glad they did that because that was too much space.
See it come into play a lot more in the men's game, and that space and some of the athleticism at the rim, as Lee has another basket, but consider me a fan as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hess moving quickly. 2 more.
And look how Robin Lee just gets the ball out of bounds.
Eats the 3 and connects.
I mean, there's nothing better than that. Emma Hess just absolutely destroyed your defense, coming all the way down, making an easy layup, and then you get the ball out quickly and put up an open 3 and make it. That's huge.
You love watching a couple of veterans duel.
That's right. You know, that's exactly what it is. We've got some great youth on the floor, but there's something about what you learn by just playing in this game year after year, game after game. So here it is. Great pass from Hodges. Emma Hess finds an opening, goes all the way to the rim, and then watch this. Actually, not even a quick inbounds on that one. That was Robin Lee who brought it down afterward to hit that 3, but just shows you her intent toward the basket.
On that coast-to-coast play, what would you like to see differently for that LaTech defense?
I don't know if there is, honestly. I mean, I always say you got to pick up the ball earlier. You've got to stop that driver. You could have come in position to take a charge, but oftentimes it's just slowing down somebody that's on that attack mode.
Hess called for the travel as she was coming around the screen. A lot of whistles here early on in this contest. Look at Wanza, the transfer from Richmond. Great pass backdoor. Thomas misses the first. And now a foul inside. And that's going to be on Asia Boone. It'll be her second. Actually, it will be on Stout. It's her first. And they will call it on the floor. Probably a better case scenario for Liberty that Boone isn't in early foul trouble. Morris, long 2. Too strong. Ana Bedoza finally healthy and starting to play a lot bigger role as that backup point guard for the Flames.
Yeah, we're watching her get a lot more minutes as of late.
Here's Stout double teamed in the post. Under 10 on the shot clock. Moore trying to make something happen. Stout's got to go. Beat Wanza, but missed the shot as Aaron grabbed the rebound. Morris going quickly. And good defense from Bedoza.
Great defense. That's what she did. Pushed her out.
Aaron in and out, and a foul underneath. Kelly, this would not be a game that you as a big would have enjoyed playing in, let's be honest. And that'll take us to break here in Lynchburg. Liberty up by 12 midway through quarter number 2.
She's taken every setback and just come back hungrier. It's not easy to do, and everything about the redshirt senior has impressed Coach Green. He told us, if I was hiring for a corporate job, I'd want to put her in a leadership position. That's how much her presence is felt on this team. So her drive has led to more practice time for Ana, and Coach hopes that, of course, keeping her shoulder in mind, she can ultimately see more minutes on the court come game time, too.
Thanks for that, Annie. And Kelly, I think to further expound on that point, when you look at this Liberty team, they have a lot more depth than they did a year ago, and I think that's what has many around the program hopeful for what the end of this year could look like.
Absolutely, and especially when you have the kind of experience that you get with an Ana Bedoza, because she's already played in so many years of college. She comes in here for her last season, and especially from the point guard position, right? That's technically, I mean, I'll say it fine. The most important, and the most important job on the floor is getting the ball where it needs to go.
That hurts you to say, didn't it?
It does. It's very hard. I don't know if the words come out right.
Stout with a pretty jumper.
But I can say that the post player looked good inside, hitting from the mid-range. 6
points here in the first half for Emmy Stout off the bench. Aaron working on Steenbergen and couldn't finish. Just one starter, Asia Boone, on the floor for the Flames as Steenbergen sways into the three. She says, count it, and she's heading to the free throw line.
Is that our 5th player now to hit a 3 in this game? 7 threes now. How about this? Great pass from Asia Boone. Gets to the middle of the floor, finds Steenbergen, and you don't see the foul on that shot, but it came just about after she put that up. An opportunity for a 4-point play. Gotta love that.
So Steenbergen, who'd been battling sickness throughout the week, missed the first couple of days in practice, was fairly limited Thursday night. I talked to her pregame, said feeling much better, and obviously the shot looking better.
How deep is this Liberty team? I mean, they just continue to bring bodies into this game. Avery Mills back in the game. Claudia Athene in the game for the first time.
9 players averaging over 13 minutes per game this season for Liberty. Smith guarded by Mills. Good defense from Brooke Moore on the deny.
Wow, how about the D up top? Great job overplaying. That is a 5-second call. Coach Green wanted it as well.
Thomas inside. And Moore grabbed the rebound.
But they'll get the stop. And that feels good as, you know, you got 5 players out on the floor, none of whom are starters. And you get a 30-second clock, but they take a shot that deep. And then how about deep range? Claudia Athene.
Liberty has woken up from downtown today. 8 threes, more than they'd had in the previous 8 quarters of basketball. Morris. And it has continued to be a cold shooting day for LaTech, but doing it on the defense until Moore says no.
Oh, I think there was just this collective sigh in Liberty Arena, because if that had been a bucket, this place would have gone wild. Here's the stop. So first a turnover. Was trying to enter the ball in to the guard, got taken away, and then Brooke Moore just takes it away on the defensive end with the block.
Is that where you shout weight room in the practice gym?
By the way, that is a great time to give a shout out to our strength and conditioning coaches all around, both sides of this team. That so much is done in that weight room. I cannot, I mean, some of my hardest times as an athlete were in the strength and conditioning room.
Had a great conversation earlier pregame with the strength and conditioning coach at LaTech, and just everything that goes into preparing these athletes to play at an elite level on such short rest.
Well, and it's changed so much too. You know, we emphasize that a lot more in the women's game than we used to. I did not lift a weight until I got into college, and now that is a thing of the past.
Going to tie up, and it will stay with LaTech.
Smith has done such a good job at staying down there to disrupt that pass from the rebounder to the point guard. She got a steal earlier, now a tie-up in possession with LaTech, so huge plays.
Kelly, what was most interesting, though, in that conversation with Cameron Blair, the strength and conditioning coaches, we see the 3 hit there, but for as much as data has been brought into strength and conditioning, he said, you know, sometimes the eye test is what's most important.
Isn't that interesting? Because we put a lot of time and money, honestly, all the things that these ladies are wearing now to monitor their sleep, their, you know, recovery. The eye test, hey, Coach Green always says it, big eye don't lie.
Morris displaced Mills, back up top. And the 3 off the mark for Taylor Rietveld. Moore hit one from the corner earlier. Today she's got her second. And Brooke Moore continues to play at a high level off the bench for the Flames.
She keeps getting better. You know, we talked last game about the fact that she had an injury as she was just kind of getting to the top of her game, her freshman season. Well, she is well beyond that spot now. Every time she's on the floor, good things happen.
Marshall couldn't find the answer. She's been quiet here in the early stages. Under a minute to go in this first half. Mills passed up the three, gets downhill, and couldn't finish as Marshall grabs it. Lost her shoe in the process. LaTech looking to take advantage, but Moore using those long arms, grabs it out of thin air.
I thought Avery was just going to start running without a shoe on.
I want to see her take a three without it on.
I thought that the game had to stop for that. I guess not.
About a 5-second difference between shot and game clock.
She needs to make a three like that. I want to see it.
Oh, great backdoor look. Steenbergen. And a blocking foul will send her back to the free throw line.
And I would imagine that call, I think she was right underneath the cylinder of the basket, and that is why it was a block and not a charge, because she was in excellent position. Good backdoor. Steenbergen gets it. Yeah, she is right under the basket. LaTech overall, they do a really good job of picking up charges.
And their SID, Kevin Alvarez, does a great job of tracking those in his game notes. Kelly, I know you appreciated that.
I sure do.
And Steenbergen hits the first.
One.
21 points now off the bench for the Flames in this opening half. 7 seconds on the game clock. Morris hit a three a few moments ago. He's going to find Smith at the top. Too strong. Stout with the rebound. And Liberty will lead by 19 at the break. To be a decoy and allow your teammates to do their thing around you.
And you know what I love right there? Number 31 has no part of her game that is like, hey, get me the ball. I need to score. I got to get my points. She is such a selfless player, and that right there shows you why. She will find the open player. And great pass, just a miss by Emma Hess.
Has 5 points in that opening half. Misses her first shot here as Morris pushes the pace. Harry thought about the 18-footer. Robin Lee had a good first half. This is a long two. She's got 13 so far in this game.
No better way to start that half for an impassioned Brooke Storr than to get a stop on the defensive end and score three, almost to steal on that. That's exactly what she talked about.
Hess working on Lee in the tough finish.
So she misses the one that looks open and makes the one that looks like she doesn't even have a shot at it. I love that.
Give me the veteran battle that we've seen at times in this game. Her and Lee have been going back and forth. Here's the young freshman, Paris Bradley, just 3 points in that opening half. The freshman for LaTech combining for just 7 points in that opening half. And Marshall called for the walk.
So Emma Hess missed the wide open three, but how about this? Robin Lee on her a little bit late on the backside. She had two other defenders come and help. That was a very difficult layup against 3 defenders. She gets it to go off the glass.
Hess looking inside for Smuda. Ayesdottir came up with it. Good ball movement from the Flames. Hess rejected the screen, pulls up over Lee off the backboard.
I love that about confidence. You have a good game, and you put everything behind you, and now you have the freedom to play how you know you can.
Lee, the response.
How many times has she done that in a game where Liberty does something really good, and then Robin Lee comes and just ruins the party for Liberty?
Lee averaging 15 points over her last 6 games. Best offensive stretch of her career. Inside for Smuda, they threw 2 bodies at her. High post entry. Smuda with 7, goes to work. Spins on Airy and couldn't finish. Good defense from the young freshman.
Yeah, great defensive stop. She's got such great height and pretty good lateral quickness, too, to stay with Smuda.
Morris off with the 3. Second chance for Lee, and 2 more. 17 on the afternoon.
Robin Lee does a really good job of using the backboard. We saw Emma Hess do that a couple times, even in this half. But Robin Lee, I've seen some game film on her. That is definitely her shot.
Flames were looking in the paint, denied. Aries done a nice job defensively on Smuda today. Hodges into the middle, threw it up, couldn't get the teardrop to go. And it will stay with Liberty.
Jordan Hodges, wow, a lot of bodies in that paint, swings it up. And
I actually think that Isla Airy had a pretty good argument that one went off of Bella Smuda.
I was the very same. I was actually anxious to see the replay, and I think it was confirmed.
But after all of that, it goes back to LaTech on the Flames turnover. LaTech is trailed by as many as 21 today. It's just not been their day on the back end of this long road trip that also took them to Miami. That's a great look as Morris has two inside.
And that was really good patience. You had Airy with the ball and a lot of screening action away from her. They overplayed on one of those screens, and the back door was wide open.
Back up top for Hodges. Go down to Smuda. This is the matchup we've been waiting to see, and Airy wins it again. That young freshman center has been impressive, Kelly.
Well, and I love what we said earlier, and another jump ball on the drive. Great job by Hodges to get her hands on it, but you mentioned it early. We didn't get to talk about it, but when Airy came in, Coach Storr telling us that she brought her into the film room and showed her some film on Bella Smuda about how she can pattern her game after this really good player in Conference USA. Now she gets an opportunity to play against her. She's done a very good job.
Back up top here for Morris. Airy just her 9th start of her young freshman career. Morris downhill draws the foul. And Kelly, sometimes as a young post, speaking of Isla Airy, it's great to just have trial by fire. And the first start that she makes, she goes up against Aaronette Vonley, the talented post at Baylor. Then a couple games later, Sedona Prince, who was a Lisa Leslie Award finalist a year ago. And now Bella Smuda today, she's learning on the fly.
Yeah, you're going to get better when you go against players like that, right? It's going to help your game. You may not do all the things you want to against them, but you're going to learn with every one of those games. You learn something about yourself. You learn something about what your opponent is doing. You make adjustments. That's what good players do.
And it's kind of that bell curve. You want to see someone just continue to grow and elevate.
Oh, good defense by Lee. Boone was trying to go back door.
Pass working on Bradley. Another deep shot clock possession.
We're seeing much better on-ball defense from this LaTech team.
Boone step back, ugly shot. A rare miscue for 12 and white. Lee drives right at her. Too strong off the rim, and Stout with the rebound. Liberty, after the strong offensive first half, quiet. Just 4 points in the second half. Multiple bodies on the floor. Looks like Boone and Lee going to be okay. Hess, too strong. Aaron tracks down the rebound, and she'll push. Looking like a point guard. Aaron draws the foul. And we'll head to the free throw line. Sometime as the post, you just got to try to take it to coast.
I was surprised she put the ball on the floor, but I love it too.
Liberty with a 14-point.
Aggressive rim protector. It frees things up for her players on the perimeter. It allows them to take more chances. So the Australian freshman, she keeps taking steps forward. Coach Storr is really happy with the results she's seen, Noah.
Avery Aaron at the free throw line. Goes 1 and 2. Gets the offensive rebound. And now turns it over after the foul before the break. And to that point, it might not necessarily show up this year, but for LaTech, all the young pieces, I think these are some major building blocks for the future.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, you know, going back to Airy, too, it's not like she came in and has this post player that she can play behind. you know, she's taking on a large load early in her freshman career to have to come in and play such significant minutes.
Yeah, someone like an Annalyn Robertson a year ago that you can kind of season and learn under, much like Bella Smuda did under Maya Bergman.
Yeah, it's a great point. By the way, you said it early about how Brooke Moore comes in and does such good things. She just got that tie-up down below, or maybe it was a block, and then the recovery to Liberty. But, I mean, every time she is on the floor, good things happen.
Foul away from the ball on Avery Aaron. It'll be her second, and the Flames will have it. Brooke Moore in a stretch of games where she scored 5 or more points, and now 6 of her last 7 games. She's becoming that 6th or 7th woman off the bench for this Flames team as Stout keeps her good day going.
Great pass on that baseline drive.
And we touched on it a moment ago, a Louisiana Tech team extremely young. 9 of the 13 pieces on this team are either freshmen or sophomore. Those are some great building blocks.
Yeah, and every good coach will put a good spin on things. And Coach Tor, she wasn't making this up either. I believe her when she says, this young team has invigorated me. It's made me so excited. They're fun to be around. They have an enthusiasm that's infectious. And you need that sometimes. And, you know, Coach Tor was honest and said, you know, last year was tough. We lost some games we don't normally lose and lost some key players. But this year feels very different.
Hey, you've heard a lot of coach spins over the years, so I appreciate your input. Aaron in trouble. Good defense from Stout. Locates Thomas in the corner. And the slow shooting day from downtown for LaTech continues. Now just 3 of 14 from 3. Boone used the screen and in and out on the 3. And Stout's getting called for the foul. And that's just a big in the wrong place, I guess, at the wrong time.
I thought that one was close, but I like that she was there. Meaning close, not sure I would have called that one a foul, but I like that she was aggressive toward the basket. But this is what LaTech needs, right? Get a stop, come down, set up your offense, and score.
Hey, let's be honest. You've never had a foul against a big that you've actually agreed with.
Never.
In your playing career, too.
Probably.
Aaron, tough drive. And a good rebound there from Stout. That's that quick memory for getting. Just 6 points in the third for the Flames. Boone downhill, blocked from behind. Paris Bradley got her hand all over that one.
The best part for LaTech is it bounced off of Asia Boone after she got blocked, so LaTech ball. Good defensive stop here. Nice drive with the right hand. That's actually not her strong hand. And help comes over. Ball bounces off of Asia Boone.
Last year's freshman of the year in the conference, and perhaps the future freshman of the year in the conference. And Paris Bradley, who's had one heck of a freshman year to this point.
Yeah, they're going to have multiple players on that all-freshman team.
Steenbergen called for the foul.
LaTech was such a deep history in women's basketball. 3 national championships, or they won that game. And then how about this replay? Steenbergen inside trying to defend. Gets a call.
A lot of the OGs of women's college basketball remember this Lady Texters team. You mentioned the national championships, the number of players that they have put into the WNBA, and former legends as well. Kim Mulkey played here at LaTech and starred back in the day.
17 30-plus win seasons. That's incredible. And 8 title games. That's what I was talking about. So 3 they won. They won the whole national championship. 8 title games. And Avery Mills gets on the board. Her first 2 points of the game.
Bradley trying to respond and does.
They've done that so many times.
There's not enough stops defensively
today.
Yeah,
I think that's it, because I love that, right? They're not, they get punched in the mouth, they come right back, and they score.
Mendoza uses the screen. Steenbergen going to take the 3 and can it. 9 off the bench today for Bean Steenbergen.
Yeah, she's having a great game, and you had mentioned it early. She's coming off some illness. She's had to have limited minutes. And she's looking very comfortable, back to her normal ways.
Marshall driving right at her. Steenbergen affected the shot. Mary has the offensive rebound. Kick out. Bradley straight on three. No. And a foul inside. This one's going to go on Airy. Be her first.
Got some Avery Mills fans behind us. All over the arena, I would say. A local product. Played at LCA, just about a mile from here.
Definitely earned some fans in that state championship season as a senior.
And Emmy Stout to go with her as Anna Bedoza gets the 2 to fall.
Every bench player that Liberty has put into this game has now scored.
That is my favorite stat line. I love looking at assists, and I love looking at stats like that. And if there was a charging stat, as I mentioned, no, I'd like looking at that. I just want to continue to return to it until it's something we call.
An illegal screen here now on Paris, Bradley, and Kelly. To put it into some context, Liberty's bench has outscored LaTech 30-3. More, just 8 shy of the bench points than LaTech has in this game.
Yeah, that is an astounding number. I think I mentioned in the in the Conference USA preseason show that we did together that the best part about Carrie Green and this Liberty team is their depth. And they have done such a good job at distributing minutes on the floor and getting people involved.
Moore looking inside, lost it, just 2 seconds left. Aaron with a long attempt, and too strong. And after 3 quarters of play in Lynchburg, Liberty just 1 quarter away from picking up their 3rd conference win. Will they do it? We'll find out when we come back.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Today tastes like a home game, like a huddle. Tastes like we're bringing the heat, and like a front row seat. Today tastes like we're a team, and it never tasted this good.
In Conference USA, unity, solidarity, and respect are more than just words. They are values to live by. When we embrace our differences, we become stronger and lift each other up. Together, we can be unstoppable. Join us in championing diversity, equity, and inclusion in college athletics and beyond. Now is the time to make a difference. This is our chance to make a better tomorrow, because when we work together as one, we can achieve greatness. Together, there are no limits on us.
Carter Bank & Trust proudly serves our customers and communities through proven convenience, personalized solutions, and industry-leading security. We value helping customers succeed, building our communities, and earning the trust of those we're privileged to serve. We strive to be a lifetime financial partner for the communities we serve because caring is what we'll always do best. Join the Carter Bank & Trust family to find out what it means to have a lifetime financial partner. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I did a Good Feet commercial about 4 years ago, and I thought maybe I should check in with you. Yeah, I'm still wearing my Good Feet arch supports. They give you the freedom to move without pain. I worry about how warm or cool to dress on trail, but I don't worry about my feet anymore. I put my arch supports in and forget about it. I'm Deidre Haven, and this is still my Good Feet story.
You too can get back out there with arch supports from the Good Feet store.
Liberty leading 57-38, and if you're a fan of Conference USA, ESPN Plus is the place you want to be. It's home to over hundreds of Conference USA games, including every basketball game. Men's ice hockey coming up at Liberty on January 7th. January 18th, the Liberty men will face New Mexico State. Sign up at ESPNplus.com today to keep up on all the Conference USA action. Ton of action here in Lynchburg. And Robin Lee on a quiet shooting day overall for LaTech has been a big bright spot with 17.
Yeah, the only one in double figures for her team. 6 of 12 from the field. She's been perfect from the free throw line, gotten to the rim, been able to hit from outside. I think her toe was on the line on that one. What I can't believe, though, with a player like this that's so good at finding open players, doesn't have an assist tonight. But I know today's rather, but I know we've seen good passes. I think her teammates haven't finished for her in order to get those assists, but 5 boards to go along with her stat line. Talked about her a lot. She's one of the lone veterans on this team, and she's been an important part of what LaTech has done early in this season to get some success.
Leading all scorers today was 17, and over her last 6 games, averaging 16 points per game. It's the best offensive stretch of her career. Here's Smith to start the fourth quarter. Short offensive rebound for Aaron. And Brooke Moore has another rebound inside.